Hi guys, Artie here, and it has been officially confirmed that Warner Bros. Discovery will be splitting off into two separate entities, which is expected to happen by mid-2026. It was recently announced that the new names will be simply Warner Bros. And Discovery Global respectively. Totally surprising, I know. Unfortunately, David Zaslav will remain in control of Warner Bros., while current CFO Gunnar Weindefels, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, will be in charge of Discovery. The most burning question is which side will get to keep Cartoon Network. To answer that question, Discovery will be keeping the Cartoon Network channel itself, but not its studios nor its library. They will keep a majority of the legacy Turner networks and of course all of Discovery's channels. On the other hand, Warner Bros. Will retain Cartoon Network and Adult Swim's library of content, but not Discovery. This means that the channels will be separated from their studios in the decades of catalog backlog. If you were wondering what else Warner Bros. Will be keeping, it'll pretty much be everything Warner Bros. Related, such as the film and TV studios, New Line Cinema, HBO, Cinemax, the HBO Max streaming service, DC, International TNT Sports Networks, and lastly, that tiny 12.5% sliver of the CW that they still own. Warner Bros. Not only gave Discovery almost all the cable networks, most of which are dead weight, but also the majority of the company's debt at a staggering $33 billion. Even though everyone hates David Zaslav, I believe this could be another bad decision, especially since all the channels under the Cartoon Network Inc. banner will be separated from their main sources and providers of content. Now that their catalog of shows are owned by a separate company, they will have to pay a licensing fee to Warner Bros. To be able to air their own programs. You thought the intercorporate deals were bad, this is far worse. Knowing Discovery, they will likely cheap out on licensing shows to their networks to cut costs. CN and Adult Swim schedules could devolve to how lame they were during 2017 through 2021, if not worse. I absolutely do not see them going out of their way to go all out with their scheduling, not in this day and age. There really isn't much incentive in pouring millions of dollars into a dying linear network that gets far less views than some Twitch live streams, so expect a drop-off in quality after the split finalizes. To add insult to injury, Cartoon Network is being moved to Xfinity's Sports and Entertainment Extra add-on, and will no longer be available on the Ultimate TV tier, which was already a pretty penny to begin with. Xfinity subscribers are not happy about this, and rightfully so. It was already bad enough when the channel was taken off of the basic tier in 2021 because they needed a quick cash grab scheme in NBC Universal's grudge with Warner Bros. For whatever reason. They also did the same exact thing with Turner Classic Movies years ago, and they do not carry Boomerang whatsoever. Seems to be a running theme here. Anyhow, this will be another blow to Cartoon Network's ratings and could even be a domino effect where other cable providers deprioritize the channel by moving it to higher and more expensive tiers or drop it outright. DirecTV has already moved CN to a higher tier, but kept Adult Swim on the basic package. I wish I had something more positive to say, but the future for the channel doesn't look so bright. At least the brand itself is somewhat alive with new shows in production. However, they all seem to be continuations, reboots, and spin-offs. No original IPs in sight since everybody is going independent these days, since they won't get screwed over by a greedy network or executives with poor judgment. The most ironic part about all of this has to be that most of the well-known CN shows are not available on HBO Max in the US, but rather Hulu, which is owned by Disney. Funny how Warner Bros. And Disney have been rivals for nearly a century now. Yet Disney cares more about their content than they do. I know that CN shows and children's content in general struggles on HBO Max since kids don't watch it, and that's why they've been deprioritizing it, but still. Hopefully, they will put the rest of the missing in action shows somewhere, such as Hulu or possibly even Tubi someday. Warner Bros. Seems more keen on licensing out their legacy content instead of hosting it themselves, since it is more profitable for them that way. Even though the Warner Bros. Streaming and Studios division will still own 20% of the Discovery side of things, we don't know for sure what content they will be allowed to share without having to pay a licensing fee. Except for Turner Classic Movies, which will be owned by both parties. The common pattern with Warner Bros. For the longest time seems to be split and merge, and split and merge constantly. It's like some rich guy marrying a chick for a few years just to break up, divorce, and find a new one. As if it's just another day in the office. I've discussed this matter with some people about this on a Twitter thread, and a few have said that the split could be the straw that breaks the camel's back for Cartoon Network, and that it won't make it past 2027. I obviously can't guarantee anything, and we don't know whether the network will survive or not, given cable TV's already rough state, but there may certainly be changes for the worst in the near future. If CN is on thin ice, Boomerang can't be in any better position either. Not to mention Adult Swim has already cut so many corners in the past year, lost 4 blocks, and CN itself, which includes Adult Swim too, had 40% of the programming team laid off, so only time will tell. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, notify, and check out other videos on the channel. You may like them. What are your thoughts on the WBD split? Do you think this split could be the final nail in the coffin for CN, or is there still hope? Let me know in the comments.